This was a game we assumed Oregon would just roll through, be very easy for them. It was not. This was a win your clunkers. I don't know if we're calling it a good win. It's one that I'm happy for Oregon that they won, because this could have been really embarrassing for them.
Yeah, so do we want to start on them not winning by enough? Somebody just said that I need to be hard on Oregon, and I don't. Why would I be hard on Oregon?
Yeah, they won.
Why?
It would have been bad if they'd lost. It would have been really bad if they tried that fake field goal when they could have gone up 19-13, and then Wisconsin had tied the game with a field goal and then won in overtime. That would have been really, really bad, but that didn't happen. Oregon's defense came up big. Mateo Uyunglelega's interception to win the game. But
did you hate that call or like that call? Because I was debating people on it.
I hated it.
You hated it?
Hated it.
I'm going to guess, you didn't hate the decision to go for it. You hated the way in which they did go for it.
Right. Put Dylan Gabriel on the field if you're going to go for it.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to tell you that I really liked it. And you want to know why? Because on fourth down, I was laying on my stomach in my bedroom writing. Just so you guys know, when I write my articles, I lay on my stomach in my bed and I put a pillow underneath my chest.
Don't need this image.
Okay, I'm just saying that's how I write. I don't write at a desk. I write.
How do you write on your that would kill my back. And also, how do you type like that?
I have a system. Okay. But anyway, the iPad was to the right. So I always have my iPad with the 4 box next to the screen so I could look over. And when they got stopped on third down, I went back to writing and I didn't see the play happen live because I was so locked into the notion that they would kick a field goal, which means that nobody saw it coming. And it was the perfect time to try something like that to win a football game.
Nobody saw it coming because it was incredibly stupid.
The guy was a half yard.
You know who saw it coming? Wisconsin, because he didn't make the first down.
Yeah, it was a fourth. So here's the thing. And I don't know if this is going to come across as a shot at Ohio State. So please don't. I'm not trying for it to be. But in my decade of covering the team, some years this was better than others. I covered a team that had more talent than the team that they were playing 99% of the time, right? Mm-hmm. And I always thought that during my time period there that Ohio State, and maybe it's even true to a certain extent now, relied on just their talent advantage to win football games. And I always thought that they could be more clever, more tricky, more aggressive in situations to really put opponents in a bad spot. And I admire that Dan Lanning just goes for it. And I know that it might not always be the most aesthetically pleasing thing, or you might always think it's stupid or it doesn't work out.
I don't always think it's stupid. Like the first Washington game last year, when he went for it 3 times, there was only one I disagreed with, because when the one at the very end of the half, he should have kicked the field goal because the end of the half negates the advantage of making them, play backed up to their own goal line. But usually I agree with Dan Lanning when he goes forward. And I would have agreed with him in this case had he put his offense on the field. Don't rely on the punter, who's your holder, to gain those yards. And I keep seeing in the chat, well, if Herbert had gotten his block, it would have been a touchdown. Don't rely on the punter, who doesn't run the ball very often. Rely on Dylan Gabriel and Jordan James.
Before halftime, he also did a fake kneel play. I like that Oregon makes you think. And they put stuff on tape and you always feel like the man has something up his sleeve and they try to do something that the opponent does not anticipate. And I think that having a talent advantage, it gets very easy to just do the status quo all the time and just rely
they
on your better players.
Stuff, so when they get in games against teams that are equally talented, they're ready for it. I get it. Also, and I also like that he has that much faith in his defense. So I'm not killing Dan Lanning for this. I just would have liked the offense to be on the field.
I think he knew either way that Wisconsin wasn't crossing the 50. So, I think that that's part of it too. I don't know. Maybe you don't run that play if you're playing Georgia in the semifinal. But and also too, there was no consequences for them to even lose this game to begin with. So it doesn't even matter. But I'm saying when you prepare for Oregon as an opponent, there is an element of what the hell is this man going to come up with? And I think that every good coach should have a what is this man going to come up with situation that puts the other coach on tilt a little bit in high leverage situations. Now, I will say this about Dan Lanning, and it's true, Andy. He does seem to go for it a lot in critical situations in big games, and he seems to fail getting it a lot in big games. And I don't know if that's bad luck or if it's the wrong call or whatever it is, but he has taken a lot of chances, Andy, and it does feel like from a 30,000-foot view that they come up short more often than not in these situations. Is that a fair thought? Like even in the Ohio State game, they went for it on 4th down inside the 10 and they didn't get it. Like I just have a lot of don't getting it moments. And maybe I just don't remember the ones that he's getting.
The thing is, again, but as long as it's right, not right before the half or right at the end of the game, you know, the going for it on 4th down inside the 10, inside the 5, I have no problem with, because I appreciate the advantage it gives your defense. Even if you don't make it, that offense is backed up on its goal line. So
I also love too that is on film now, and when they play in a playoff game and it's 4th and 2 from the,
it's something they have to practice,
and it's something the
opposing team has to practice.
But also in the head of the opposing coach of what else did he come up with during the last 3 weeks? Like I think that there is something to gain from doing shit like that. That isn't just did you get it or not?
Yeah. Yeah. Missing Tez is huge, Hey says in the chat. Yes, Ole Miss missing Trey Harris has been huge.
Mm-hmm.
It happens. Sometimes your best receiver's out. You got to figure it out. And Oregon
overall, Andy,
they did lose.
You overthink this, or is it just it's hard to blow everybody out in an 11-win season? Like
it's very hard to blow everybody out. I don't. Yeah, I'm not killing Oregon because they didn't lose. Like they won the game. Sometimes you just have to get through these. And they did. And they're going to have a week off. And they're going to play Washington, which, by the way, there's a lot of mental freight in dealing with Washington. They've lost 3 in a row against them. Like, they've got to figure it out.
I think it'll be okay.
I think they're going to be okay, too. But I thought, Washington's playing better. So we'll see. But I don't, I'm not going to bag on Oregon. I would have preferred the offense be on the field if you're going to go for it on that 4th down.
Don in the chat here wants us to hold the undefeated #1 team in the country accountable for not losing. So we're not doing a good job.
Yeah, now Oregon is going to be held accountable. Well, how would you hold them accountable, and what would you hold them accountable for? Even if they're 11-1, they're still going to be #1 or #2.
Like what is the appropriate thought there? I don't even understand. Yeah. Like what are you going to say that Oregon?
We should be meaner to Dan Lanning because he won only by 3. Like, who cares?
And you were pretty critical of his decision to go for it. So the way that he did, I think that I shouldn't have even acknowledged this guy. All right, keep going.
It's okay. It's all right.